Hello, I'm Keyoka, the Awkward Black Nomad. I'm a writer, I'm a dog mom, and I travel solo. My dogs and I have been to 10 countries, and Lord, you can hear one right now in the back. I apologize. This has been a chaotic day for me, and it is only noon. But we're gonna get it together. So I usually bring women on my channel, black women who have traveled, who have been outside, because I want more women to know that the world is your oyster. You can get out there and go see the world. So, my guests today are actually, well, one of them I've met in real life, but sometimes I'll have people on here who are like friends in my head, but these are friends in real life. Let me bring them up.
Hello.
How are you guys? Please introduce yourself since I hate doing introductions.
I am Alicia Bree. My name is Paulisha, but I go by Alicia Bree. And this is my beautiful wife,
Hello.
Jay.
Yes, I'm Jay. I go by Jay. I'm Janaire, but it's hard to say, so we say Jay.
And okay. Hi, Jay.
And we are two beautiful women who love to travel the world, and we also live in the UK. So here we are.
So I was saying this a little bit before I hit the live button. Jay, I haven't met you in person. So hi.
And don't say it's my fault because it isn't.
I'm an introvert. I stay inside.
I understand. Listen, we are introverts on this channel, so we know all about that outside life. So first, Leisha, I want to tell the people how you and I met. So it was on Bumble BFF.
You gotta love it.
And so like people criticize the apps for dating. I feel like for friendships, the apps are pretty sketchy as well.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, accurate in a sense of, when you are on the dating sites that, the men or the women come off as, oh, I got this, and I got this. But when you see them in real life, it's all dead flies. As far as friends, you generally get to talk to them a little bit before going into it. So you kind of get a sense of who they truly are. But then when you're in front of them, you're just probably like, oh, I really like this girl, or swipe in real life, if that makes sense. So I've
do you feel like, so like when I was in London, I felt like people were so busy. I was trying to be friends and we had to plan out a friend date weeks in advance. Like, and I'm saying this because, you are also somebody who we can't pin down. We don't know where you are. We don't know if you're free. We don't know what you're doing. You might be out of the country. That's just how you live. So
of that is kind of sketchy. You are right. I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one.
Exactly. But you and I met on like a friend app, and then I want to say we met for lunch when I was in London, and you were like one of the first friends I met in London.
Yay! I never knew that.
It just like clicked instantly.
Yes, I loved it. As soon as I saw you, I was like, this girl is gorgeous. This is my friend. Don't do that. Girl, stop it.
I don't know what I'm saying. Hello everybody. I see that there's a Chiefs game about to play. I don't know what that is. Football. Football. Okay, I mean, we're better over here, but I guess Angela, if you are watching the video, please drop down in the comment section. Please hit the like button. I know Yvonne, Rashida went live and she may still be on live, so people might stagger in afterwards, but please like the video and drop down in the comment section if you have any questions. Hi, Yolanda. Hi, Dana. I met Dana in real life last night because I went outside. There was there was like a little meetup of women who live in Dallas, and I went outside and saw.
Girl, I need to get outside. Besides
you coming up. Oh, you coming up. So I love to start with like an origin story. So how did you two meet?
You want to go with that one?
Uh, it's kind of a funny story. So
Is it?
it is. So we met in high school, actually. So I knew about her since ninth grade. But like at that time, she was very intimidating. She went to a different school than me, but we had mutual friends. And how I knew of her is these girls in like physical education PE. They're like, yeah, I'll get my homegirl Paulisha to beat you up. I'm like, who is
Mind
this
you,
girl?
I was never like this. I don't understand why they thought I was going to beat anybody up for them.
Yeah.
However,
So I was like, well, I'm not gonna mess with whoever this Paulisha or Alicia girl is. So I ignored her for years until 12th grade. I left school and came back to my original high school, and this one girl came up to me and was like, "Yeah, I talked to this girl all summer, and she's so pretty, da da da." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, good for you." So I ended up going to a football game, and that same girl was there. And she came, she was like, yeah, let me show you this girl in the stand. So when she went to show me who the girl she talked to all summer fell asleep on the, she said y'all fell asleep on the phone every night.
No.
So I went and I saw
Delusion.
her, and I'm like, she looks familiar. And I'm like, I think that's that Paulisha girl they were talking about. So I hit her up that night on Twitter, and I was like, "Hey,
she slid
so
into the DMs.
I was like, hey,
it sounds like you stole."
I sure did. I went into the DMs and I was like, so I heard you've been talking to so and so all summer. I see you. And she was like, girl, don't play with me.
In my voice. Because don't play with me.
She was like, I do not talk to that girl. And then we started just talking from there. And yeah, that's how we started talking.
And now we are
about to be 12 years
together and 2 years married. So yeah.
That's crazy.
I guess she stole me for a good reason, per se.
She was never yours.
So she was never mine, but I guess.
Yeah. But that's how we started.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Because, we don't really hear about like that young love turning into a marriage and y'all still being married.
Yeah.
But that's amazing. So then I guess the question would be, who wanted to travel first?
It was always me.
It was always you?
It was always me.
So how did the journey begin? Did you guys like start traveling separately, or was it always going to be like, we do this together?
First, I grew up in a traveling family. My father was a pastor, so we used to always go to revivals all up and down the U.S. So with that, I saw different things, wanted to experience different things. So I was like, I want to do more international versus domestic. So once we got together, I was like, let's try cute little domestic trips together to see if we can do this.
Yeah.
And once we acclimated to how we traveled and we got it together, we started going internationally, and we haven't stopped yet.
Yeah. So with me, I traveled growing up too, domestically, and then my mom shipped me off to Africa for a month. She was like, you need to go experience it. So she shipped me to family for a month when I was like in 10th grade. So I like traveling with my family. And then I think our first trip together was to her family reunion, which was crazy. We weren't even together for like 6 months.
Yeah. And I took her to a family reunion.
She took me to New Orleans. So and I actually got there without her, which was crazy. Like
I was at a revival.
I took a road trip with her mom. And it was awkward. I drove the whole time. It was like 9 hours. I drove the whole time. But that was actually our first vacation together, which it turned out good. I met her whole family.
And honestly, from us being from very diverse backgrounds as well and going to our own countries, we knew how the international life suit us. And we're like, yeah, you want to do it? You want to go? We've always wanted to go to each other's country. And we finally did that for the first time this year after all this time. So
then let's rewind a little bit. When you say our own countries, where are you guys? Where are your people from? Because I think you both were born in the U.S. or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
but
I'm
where are
Honduran.
you from?
I'm Honduran and Haitian, and
I'm Liberian and Liberian. But it leads into my mom was born in London, so that's how like we eventually ended up in the UK through my citizenship. But yeah, my mom was born in London but moved back to Liberia, which is in West Africa, if you're wondering where that is. So,
The people don't know. Let the people know.
Yeah, it's in West Africa. So right at the curve of Africa right there is Liberia.
Okay. As everybody filters in, I just want to ask everyone to like the video. And Black folk, we speak when we come into the room. So please drop down in the comments if you have any questions for Alicia and Jay, my beautiful guests for today. Mine says, I know because of MJ, Liberian girl. First of all, that's the jam.
that is the
jam. Yes,
exactly.
That's a vibe.
I'm gonna stir something up, but Liberian jollof rice wins. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nigeria.
10 toes behind jollof rice.
I'm gonna stand 10 toes about Liberian jollof rice. I'm sorry, y'all. I love y'all. I love everyone. Everyone's food is amazing, but Liberian jollof rice, baby, is where it's at. Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this at the start of the interview because I feel like this is gonna come up again. The Awkward Black Nomad brand does not co-sign, agree with anything that is being said by my guest stars. These are their opinions. Yes, and I'm giving them a platform. However, we are and I'll put a link to Alicia's channel, and you can go ahead and sign up.
Don't counsel me before I even start.
You said all of this, hot takes. These hot takes will be available for you on her channel. Don't get me shot up by the Nigerians and the Ghanaians.
I love them all, everything, all of them. I support everyone. We go to Nigerian restaurants. We go to Guyanan restaurants. We go everywhere.
Yeah.
But having a Liberian at home makes it more accessible to have Liberian food. So I am going to be a little biased.
It's giving my woman, and someone is biased. So we're gonna leave it alone because we may be venturing into Pygmisha territory. And that's fine. That's completely fine. So I'm gonna drop the link to Alicia's channel. She is, I hope, going to be creating more content. And I think I have this right that you guys have been together almost 30 countries.
Yes. 28 to be exact, but almost 30. We were trying to get 30. However, flight fatigue got in the way. But we'll talk about that.
Let me tell you, before I leave the country again, I'm gonna give up one of these dogs. Does anybody watching the video right now want to very poorly behaved Chihuahua mixes? Because you don't even gotta pay me out. They have, let me tell you, I buy these dogs the best quality things. They have all their vaccinations. If anybody wants 2 Chihuahua mixes, let me know. I'll transport them for you. Anyways, hello everybody. Hi, as you come into the room. Hello. Okay, so you knew that you wanted to see each other's home countries. Can you talk a little bit about the planning that went into you guys starting your travel journey? So like you had this big idea, okay, I want to go abroad. Where did you kind of begin? And I'm gonna put you on center stage because I'm finna go yank up my son. Enjoy yourselves.
Where did we begin?
Well,
we started off slow. We started with cruises.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to see the outside life. Well, let me start here. We lived in Miami, and Bahamas and Mexico were 2 easily accessible destinations. So we said, why not try there? That's what started it.
Yeah. I'm no sponsor. Well, Virgin Voyages doesn't sponsor me in no way possible, but I am in love with that cruise. So if you haven't tried Virgin Voyages, it's kid free,
If you
adults
have children
only.
and you have great grandmothers to send them to, I
Yeah,
suggest you do that.
definitely check out Virgin Voyages. We did 8 days and it was perfect. But outside of that, to plan this, so it came about where one day randomly, I just got a feeling like I want to see if I can become a UK citizen. I was going through some paperwork and I found my mom's birth certificate and her being born in the UK. I went down a rabbit hole and I saw that her citizenship can be passed down one generation, which is to me. So I applied for my British passport. 3 weeks later, it was in my hands, and I was like, "Oh, so this is this is a thing." So we took a trip to London just for her birthday. Loved it. Was like, we're moving here, and then from that day, it took us 2 years.
Hmm.
2 years to move outside of the country. And it was a little bit hard because we had just bought a house the year prior.
Literally just
Like,
brand spanking new cook, like they say, cookie cutter house.
yeah,
We
new construction, everything.
everything, and 2 years and a half, and we're like, well, see your house.
Yeah, we sold
I had to
everything.
come back up to show my facial expressions.
We sold everything and we moved. So a little bit that helped us with expenses of moving and planning was because we sold our house. We had extra funding. And since we've been together in our college broke days, we've always paid our bills in advance. So we always pay our bills like 6 months to a year in advance. So when we moved abroad, we just paid all of our expenses a year in advance, not because we wanted to, it was the requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have a status or a credit in the UK, you have to pay 12 months in advance. That's just the law.
Unless you're coming under a different visa,
Yeah.
like student visa or work visa, but family visa.
Yeah, for her, it really doesn't matter about the family, but the one who's solely moving and it's going to be in your name. Even though I was a citizen, I had no credit history. So they're like, yeah, you have to pay 12 months in advance. And at that time, I was working for a US company. So it didn't prove I had income in the UK yet. So, yeah.
And that's what started off the traveling
Yeah.
destinations from UK into Europe, etc.
And then Asia and so on and so forth.
Okay, wait, pause. So I'm assuming you guys were already married. You had, because you got married 2 years ago.
We got married 2 months before moving. Well, a month before moving.
So, okay, wait. I'm trying to get the timeline together. Jay, you find your mom's birth certificate and you're like, I can get.
Okay. So I knew she was a citizen. So let me backtrack. The reason why I found my mom's birth certificate is I was just like going through her stuff. I was being nosy, but I had recently came out of a medical issue. I was in the hospital and I just didn't like the way they treated me in Florida. And I was like, I don't want to be in this country ever again, having to go through a medical emergency. I'm like, I want to like leave the country and get better health care. So that's how it kind of came about. That happened in 2021. I was like, let me just test the waters and see if I can get my citizenship. So that was 2021. We sold our house in December of 2022. So as soon as that happened, we put it up for sale. It took a forever, but it sold in December of 2022. We got married in December 2022. We applied literally the day after we got married for the UK citizenship. I mean, not citizenship, the visa for her. It was expensive. It's not cheap. But we actually moved before the visa got approved because as a US citizen, you get 6 months in the country on visitor status. So we were just like, okay, just move with me. Don't put your name on anything so we're not in no legal trouble. I do not recommend doing that though, because if you submitted an application, you're not supposed to go to the country. But we're rebels, so. But I don't advise you to do that if you're planning on applying for a family visa. So once we were there, then we got her approval. We had to like book a flight the next day back to the US to pick up the visa, is why I say don't do what we
I was
did.
so sad. We were supposed to go to Denmark,
Yeah,
and
we had
they
to
were like,
cancel.
"Just kidding, your visa's ready."
Yeah, so we took the flight the next day to Miami, picked up the visa, stayed for a week, and then we flew back to the UK and they stamped her off. She picked up her resident card, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, that happened.
You're muted.
So so you got your residency card, Jay, within 3 weeks of applying.
No, I
But
got my passport, meaning
She's a
I'm a
whole
whole
citizen.
UK citizen.
She's a
you
whole.
got a UK passport in
Yeah,
3
I didn't
weeks.
have to do. All I had to do was send my mom's birth certificate, my passport, her UK passport, which was expired since the 80s, and they shipped it back 3 weeks later. I had to do no interview. I'm a full UK citizen.
Full everything.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I had my passport in 2021, and that's how I was able to apply for a family visa for her.
Okay. And then the process to get the family visa took 6 months, was it?
No, so I applied in the end of December, so January, February. We had it in April. So from December, end of December
But
to April.
we paid for the express one. I don't know how long the other one usually takes. I think it's a little. I think it's about 6 months
6 months.
the.
I think
one.
we expedited.
We expedited ours.
Okay. Okay.
I wish I had the figures, but it's all on the website.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'll find my husband in the UK. I'm still on the look out for him. So, I'll figure it out.
Since and
He'll handle it. He'll handle it.
Okay.
So, I think you mentioned you were working for a US company at that time. So what was that like when you guys were making the transition to the UK? Did you have to find a UK company to work with, or were you able to transfer?
Yeah, so when I applied to the job that I was working for, before getting hired, I told them like, hey, I am not planning on staying in this country long. So I want to let you know up front that within the year I'm moving to the UK. And if you're okay with that, then I will sign your offer letter. So I had to go through HR and everything. They're like, yeah, we're planning on having, moving some of our employees to the UK. So we're on board with that. So once I signed the offer letter, they had already knew I was going to move. So once I did move, I didn't tell them because they were slow. Fair. So I was just like, you know what? I already worked remote, so it didn't really matter. It's just that I had to let them know at a certain point for tax purposes, they could have been penalized. So once I moved, I told HR, I was like, hey, you just acquired a company. We have employees in the UK, so therefore let's start that process. So I had to be rehired within the company with the UK counterpart. So it's just a payroll company in the UK that sponsors us, but we still work for the company. So it's just talking to your HR people and making sure they have an entity in the UK that they can transfer you to. For example, payroll. I'm not like my employer isn't the payroll company, but that is a loophole how you can get into the UK. It's just if they have a payroll entity inside of the UK, you can do that. With the visa, right? That process didn't work right away. Like I said, my company was slow. So the UK government was asking, hey, we need proof that you have a paycheck from a UK company, and I didn't. And they were like, well, you need to also send proof that you and Paulisha are a real relationship.
Oh, girl.
So in order to take the focus away from...
How did you have to prove that?
We'll tell you right now. In order to take the focus away from me not being paid in pounds versus US dollars, I sent them every kissing picture I had.
Every single one from 2012.
I said, oh, you want proof, baby?
Since we were a baby. We even showed them graduation photos from high school
What?
graduation.
We
I
were
was like,
cuddled up, make
all
it
of it.
out. I say,
All-
here's all the evidence. And so-
overwhelming amount
So
of evidence.
because we sent so many screenshots, it overlooked that I wasn't getting paid in pounds, and that's just by the grace of God.
That was
But
the Lord.
the next email we got was, you are approved.
And I said, I got on my knees immediately. I was like, God, thank you, because
But then the next Monday, my company had
sent
transferred
over the
me.
letter
Yeah, they
after
sent
I was
the-
approved.
So yeah, it's just a slow process. Like I said, we were just itching to get out the US just because of the bad experience we had with medical issues. Is the reason why we moved ahead of time. But again, I don't recommend that. Wait in the US, get everything approved before moving over. But the job situation might be a little iffy because once you do transfer your job, you have to be in the UK right away working if your job is going to transfer you. So try to balance out the logistics of moving with when your job says it's okay. But you should be able to move a little bit like 6 months ahead because you have 6 months in the UK to work. Once you hit that, then you start running into tax legal issues.
Okay, and how did you guys find accommodations when you did transition to the UK? Did you start off with Airbnb? Did you stay at a hotel at first and then apartment hunt?
So we moved in 2023. We traveled there for 2 years, just looking at different areas, seeing where we liked. And while we were there, we met with different apartments, or I should say flats, and we took tours. And we fell in love with Canary Wharf. So that's where we just decided to make an appointment. We went, saw it, and then once we came back to the States, we just communicated through WhatsApp, and we did the information through that way. We went to the bank, wired the money over, and then it was set in stone. So we had our apartment set up prior to even moving. We just had once we landed, we just picked up our keys and moved in.
That's awesome. So, what are some differences that you noticed between the US and the UK? How was it getting adjusted to life there?
We are Southern babies, so the good mornings and how you doings were very short-lived. Good morning.
They didn't want to talk to nobody. People.
You better not say nothing in an elevator either.
Nothing. Don't even.
Just look down.
Just look down. If they ask you for your number, what number of floor you're going to, that you're lucky for that. Just press it. But yes. What else was a little different? Okay. Here's our story on how we didn't know coriander and cilantro was
the same
thing.
Very
until
different.
We moved.
Yeah.
And that turkey bacon wasn't turkey bacon, and it was rashers.
It's different. Yeah, you get used to it. Definitely the personalities are different.
Mm-hmm.
They always knew we were American because they say we smile too much.
They're like, why you guys are too happy? And I'm like, damn, at home they say you don't smile enough. You got a resting face. But now I'm smiling.
Yeah, they're like, instantly we know you're American because you just smile. You have a smile on your face. But I say that the culture in America is all about work. And over there, they do value your personal time and being with family. You have more quality of life in the UK, in my opinion. Like when you go to a pub or a lounge or anything, no one talks about work. They don't really care what you do for work. What's your occupation? They want to know you for who you are. What do you like to do on the weekends? In America, it's like, what do you do? What do you work?
How much you make?
How much do you make? Money is not an issue. You see in the UK, very wealthy people hanging out with those are of a middle class. You don't see much of, battling between rich and poor when it comes to social life. But in the States, that's just, you guys know, for those who are in the States, how that goes.
You'll see people like in a full suit on the tube.
Yes.
Like, are wearing like gowns.
Right. Like they're CEOs, they're people who of high class on the tube, and you're sitting right next to them. It's like to be honest with you, driving in London is just not it.
There's no reason for
Yeah.
it. Even when I sat on the bus and it was still like old looking, but it was clean, I was just like,
Yeah.
yes, I love this for them and for me.
I do have one gripe with the public transportation. Them cloth seats. I don't know why. Like if you go, I don't know why you would choose cloth.
Right.
It's I don't know why you would do that. They have smells. They carry stains. I don't know. But
That's the only one I'll give for that. And also in the pubs and the lounges, you'll make that friend that night, and you will never talk to that person again. You can you can give socials, you can give numbers. They don't care. You'll never talk to that person again. But just know, in the club, you're fam.
so no UK friends, no London girlies.
Two that
Okay.
lives there. One I am very thankful for. We still talk. She even came in July for my birthday. Yes, because I went to Orlando for my birthday to spend time with my mom and my grandma. And she came all the way, and I love her. Shakila, shout out to you. And I have another friend. She's from New Zealand, but she moved to UK because her parents were just like Janaris was born there, and she was able to get her citizenship. So I also talked to her. So we still speak on WhatsApp, and we still make time once a month to talk to each other. But every time I'm in town, it's a party. Those are my two girlies. And of course, you when you're there and I catch you there. But
No, I feel like every time I go to London, you make it a point not to be there.
no,
So it feels intentional at this point.
it's not my fault. I'm very like I'll plan a trip a month before. And sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I could do that date. And then when I go on my calendar and see a dot on that date, I'm like, damn, she's gonna kill me. Because I don't
Jay, you
remember.
catch on a lie because I told you in May I was going to be in London for my birthday in June. And
That
where
one
were you?
That
Where
wasn't
did
my,
you?
that was her. It was her for that one. The Africa one was her. We went to Africa. Remember, we didn't go to Jada's. Okay, Janaris, my wife, her sister, her name is Jada. She graduated from high school at 16 earlier than we expected. So we couldn't go to her graduation in time. So we were like, okay, since you graduated, you did it early, we're going to fly out to Africa for your graduation party. And that's what happened. It was not malicious intent, I promise.
Like, yeah, okay.
Whatever. So, in Liberia, they're talking about Liberia, right? For the graduation. Yeah. So okay, so you guys get this new life in the UK, and you're just like, mid. I'm gonna go see the world. Where did you? Where did you start to go? Like, what was your list, your dream list of countries to go to? How did that look?
So originally we wanted to do all of Europe, but even though Europe is smaller than like over here in the States, it was a lot, and I still worked remotely, so we just dibble and dabbled a little bit. We still have to finish off Europe, but we really wanted to do all of Asia, and we tried our best to hit almost everything, but not everywhere. So that's how it started. It started with like Italy, and then we went to
on a train
Croatia.
in Switzerland, and then she was like, "Oh, they have a train to France, so let's get on a train." So we went to France.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
just
we went
it
to
started.
Poland because I wanted to know more about the Holocaust. And then when that opened up, then we went to Amsterdam and we learned about Anne Frank. And then I feel like our ADHD really played into that. Like you see one thing, but like, oh, let's expand. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, we went to like Croatia and Cyprus and Portugal. So we just it was random. Like anytime we were looking at tickets too. Like we like the cheap one. For example, we got round trip to Italy for $25 US. And I was like, perfect. Let's do it.
But I will say, before we started all of this traveling, I still have the note. We wrote down all of the places in this lifetime that we want to go together, all of them. Like I want to say 2 or 3 years before we started traveling. So we also referenced that list, and whatever was close, we jumped.
Right.
So we're like, oh, check that off, check that off, oh, check that off. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
base ADHD again came into play.
No, but it's the universe. Like you make the request.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
make the request. The
that too.
universe wishes my command. Like literally.
Like I
That's
said
amazing.
to you earlier, speak it and it shall come.
Yeah, definitely, especially like when we have when we save and have the funds to do something. It's a once in a lifetime thing because our money doesn't go in the grave with us when we die. So for example, this year we took off 5 months. I still worked remotely, but we went all through Asia for 5 months. So we started in Philippines, then we went to Taiwan, then we went to Hong Kong, South Korea, Japan, Vietnam. Where else we went? Bali, Indonesia, so Malaysia. Then we spent a month in Thailand. So we're just blessed to be able to see the world. We think that Central America is next. Maybe?
Central and South.
Central and South America might be next. And then we might head back up to
Well,
Europe.
I will say I probably head back to Europe a little bit while she's working when I'm bored because, you know, I'm a kept wife.
We love to see it. We all aspire. I've been trying to insert myself into the marriage for a while. Nobody will take me, and y'all won't let me be a part of the family.
You said you don't even know where we at half of the time, so how you gonna keep up, sister?
I don't need to be in the same place. First of all, I need the UK citizenship. Number one. Okay. Okay. And I'll see y'all when I see y'all. All right. That's the kind of situation I'm looking for.
She wants that poly life without all the extra.
Exactly. I want the poly life, but like by myself.
Heard that.
I like that.
Love that. Praying for you for that one.
Yeah. Okay, so you said you spent 5 months in Asia this year. What was the planning for that? Like, how did you? So you had this list of places that you wanted to go to, but were you shopping for deals in between? Like when you started to kind of plan your itinerary, how do you find things to do? What does that look like?
It was tough because we did do a couple hiccups where we thought it was all cool and gravy to do it all in advance. And then I started booking flights that didn't leave at the right time. And so.
And then we didn't add certain middle names on certain ones. So what I was telling you about that previously, as far as in Asia, that make sure you add that middle name, baby. Because if it's not there, it's an extra cost.
Exactly. So how it happened was we first looked at all the entry requirements to everything in Asia. And also because we were just going to go to one country, but I'm like, since we're on this side of the world, this flight is long to get here. We might as well just stay over here and knock everybody out because I don't know when's the next time I'm coming all the way back over here. So looked at all the visa requirements. Everywhere we went was visa on arrival except for
Vietnam.
Except for Vietnam. We had to go to Hong Kong because going to mainland China, you needed a visa and it probably wasn't going to get approved in time. So that's why we opted for Hong Kong. Vietnam is really easy. You apply online. It's like $25 and just apply a couple weeks in advance so that you can get approved. But then everywhere else,
and
once
also
you arrive,
check it, because if you see something that you didn't put on there and they emailed you or they didn't email you and you didn't check it, you'll be in some hot water later.
Exactly. So make sure if you have a middle name, put that on all your flights.
Every flight you go on, put that middle name. I know you don't use that middle name, but put that middle name.
Right, because they consider that your full given name and they will not let you in the country.
Whatever reflects that passport, put it on there.
And then just kind of plan out. We didn't plan this out very well. We packed a whole, because we're like, oh, Asia, it's hot. The time we went, we didn't realize that Korea and Japan is not always hot. So we were going in there with t-shirts and we forgot that it was still winter during that time. So we had a, bundle.
I went to Disney in shorts in, where were we? We were in Hong Kong. I was so cold.
Yeah.
I was so cold.
We hit up Disney World in Hong Kong and in Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We did Disney Sea in Japan.
Disney Sea. But What we did was we used our hotel points to save us money because we travel a lot. So if you have American Express, use that to your advantage. Use all of your points. And then we did Airbnbs because the Airbnbs were $10 a night
in certain places,
certain countries. So clock that.
Clock
Especially
it.
in Vietnam,
baby,
$10 a night,
cost
$15 a night,
effective.
and they were beautiful Airbnb, so they're safe as well. So I would look into.
She said
that.
Which Disney World was better? Disney Sea was better.
Yes.
The one in Hong Kong, it was nice. It
Quiet.
just was. We were the attraction.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that being black
in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong. Traveling through Asia, we were very comfortable. The only time we were uncomfortable was at Disney in Hong Kong because most of the kids have never seen black people. So we were probably the first people they ever saw that were black, and they stared. And it was rude stares. Like, they wouldn't take their eyes off of us. It was like when you're walking and you break your neck, it was that type of stare.
And they'll stop and just keep breaking their necks. Yeah. And we're breaking our necks, and we like, hello. Yeah.
So like at a certain point, like at first you kind of get annoyed, but then once you kind of understand, like, there's not a lot of black folks in this area, you get it because no one was rude to us. It's just sometimes the stairs can get uncomfortable. That's pretty much all I have to say when it comes to that. Everywhere else was very accepting to us. Especially Japan. They didn't even blink an eye at you.
They were like, hey, y'all,
keep walking. But I would say the most stares we got was South Korea and Hong Kong. And South Korea was more of a curious look. Mm-hmm. It wasn't anything rude. I just think Hong Kong was very specific of what are you? And why are you here? And the children just... they're kids, but they just never seen a black person in their life, and we were the first ones. Yeah. So,
we're the type to try not to make it uncomfortable. Just be like, sometimes when they stare too hard, I just be like, hey, hi. Instead of giving them like a dirty look. Yes. So I was just like, hey, y'all, I'm black. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
So how has your reception been in all of the countries that you've been to as black women?
I feel like I don't know. I feel safe because I have someone with me, and we do our research as well. We try to avoid countries where blatantly it's been told that, you shouldn't come here. But I feel a little safe because I'm traveling in a pair versus a single black woman traveling by herself.
And I praise y'all. I want to aspire to be a solo traveler one day, but the way I am scared, and I know my anger is scary as well. So, like, you know how they have fire and ice? I think I'm fire and she's ice. So we play off of each other. Like, sometimes she'd be like, calm down, babe. They didn't mean it like that. Or sometimes I'd be like, calm down, babe.
Right.
They really didn't mean it like that,
Right.
So once we have our energies to bounce off of, I feel
especially like being a professional, I kind of worked towards being calm because that can affect my employment. And I always tell her, you are a wife of a professional black woman, so please keep it PG. But we were very comfortable.
Not you getting yanked up, friend. Don't have the family unit out here looking crazy.
Right.
I never, but of course, you always need that little pep talk. So
Asia, we felt very safe. The reason why is every country within Asia has a black part to their culture, meaning they're how do I say that? They're mixed with black in certain parts of their country. So it's not unusual to have a darker skin wherever we went. Like in the Philippines, there were very dark Filipinos there. So they're used to us, I should say. When in Europe, we don't go to certain countries that are blatantly racist because I don't have the time to deal with you. So I just avoid you at all
costs. And I don't know your laws. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
Exactly.
I don't want to, So sometimes I know we're not supposed to go off of what other people say. We should go for ourselves. But I did that with Italy. And you know how they say Italy is like, you go for yourself. No, baby.
Yeah, Italy is that's another topic.
It's another topic, but it's just like, I did what they said, not to go by what other people say, and I went there and I felt it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna kind of listen.
No,
Or
but
yeah.
interesting you brought up Italy, right? Because Italy is marketed to Black women in particular, like, oh, they love us out there. Oh, you're gonna find your Italian husband, and you're not the first people who I've heard say Italians are prejudiced. Don't go over there.
Yes, especially. I will say this because she doesn't advertise it, but Policia speaks a little bit of French and a lot of bit of Spanish, right? I shouldn't even say a lot of Spanish. So she carries the conversation a lot. And in Italy, especially if you don't speak Italian, they're not going to, especially going there Black, they're not going to be nice.
as receptive.
Like, when we landed in Italy for the first time, getting out the airport, you have to take a bus
in Milan,
right? And our first interaction was the worst interaction. And it was just really sad because there was another individual, Italian guy there who saw what happened and he felt so bad. And he came to us. He was like, your bus is 2 stops down, right? Or 2 buses down. Because all I asked the guy was, are you going to a certain location? And he was like, get the F out my face. And I was like, oh, whoa.
And that's where one of the times I looked at her like, should I go off?
And I just looked at her and said, no, baby, you know what? We just landed.
Yeah.
So, Italy can be a little rough. But what I will say is, if you've never been to Poland as a Black woman,
please
try it.
Please go to Poland. Please go to Poland.
They love Black people out there. And we felt it. We really did.
And you know how we say the stares can be curious stares? Their stares were very curious. Even one man was like, what are you guys doing here? We don't really see you guys. We're always happy to see you. And I was like, damn, I'm going to come back.
More people have to.
Right.
Shameless plug. I have an interview with my friend who lives in Poland. You can find it on my channel. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. But she says good things about Poland as well.
Lovely people.
And the food.
Very
in Poland. Yes.
What they got over
there? So their Caesar salads have chicken and bacon in it. For people who eat bacon, but that Caesar salad has been one of the best Caesar salads.
Yeah, but they have the good sausages and pierogies
and
I don't know the names of the other dishes, but they're good.
So good. And I was in awe of how the flavor is food. Yeah.
Somebody grandma back there cooking good.
Somebody. That, and I also, for the Asian countries, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Whoever said Taiwanese food, everywhere we went in Taiwan, it was random. Everything was good.
Yeah.
And it blew my mind. I was like, not everybody can be good. So I was like, Jay, all right, let's walk down the road two blocks over. Let's just go in this one. We went in there.
Everything
was good. I said, these people are different. I've never been to a country where consistently everything tasted good. And Taiwan is the place.
Okay.
For sure.
Where's the worst food?
The worst food.
Say it.
I would say I've had
worst food in Asia or worst food overall?
I say Italy. I'm sorry. I love Italian people. No offense, but it's, in my opinion, it's a little...
Explain why though.
I think coming from America, this is why. It's a bias from Americans because American Italian is not Italian food. And America just over seasons everything.
So when you
get there, everything tastes bland.
Because they are only using like basil here, and then they'll sprinkle some salt and pepper here. And sometimes those on steak, of course, that is amazing. On eggs, of course, that's amazing. But when you're giving me, it's supposed to be what I had. It was like a champagne shell or seafood something.
Seafood pasta or something.
I was
like
like,
that.
Is this pasta water pasta? That's literally how it tasted. I was so confused.
And it was weird because we've had Italian food in the UK, and that is even very good. So going to Italy and even pizza. Pizza is like one of my favorite food, and I just could not.
We tried different pieces. We even tried what the local said, and we were like, no. Yvonne said, have we tried no, we were in Paris. Okay, tell them about our Paris. We went to Paris for a couple hours with a
tour guide from London.
Ask us. That lady walked so fast.
So okay, we took a
Londoners walk so fast. They will run over.
We took a trip we took a train with the tour guide, and there was a group of us from London to Paris, and we had to come back the same day. But there were people who had canes, there were people in wheelchairs.
That lady didn't care.
She walked so fast, we were galloping to catch up.
They were like, the flag's over there, and we was back there.
Everybody was like, oh my gosh, I'm out of breath.
And what took me was when we went to the Eiffel Tower, because it was one of the attractions, we went up on the elevator. But coming down, we had to go down the stairs
from the
top.
Mind
you, she at the bottom of the stairs. Half of us still upstairs. We trying to run, not fall. Oh my goodness!
I was so sore. I felt like we worked
2 days after that. We were sore for days. That lady walked so fast. Like I couldn't even see her half of the time. I was like, "Do you even see the flag?" So that's what happened. It was a blink.
I would have to redo it.
We need a redo. So I would definitely look for a Mama Jackson. Thank you so much, Yvonne, because I'll definitely do that.
Yes, we'll
try. Because that was a flash of lightning.
So then, how did you like France? Because you
we stayed during the trash era.
Yeah, remember when they were doing strikes and the trash workers?
I canceled my trip. Actually,
we didn't know because we were new to.
That's when it like a week before it got bad.
Yeah. And so when we went, there was trash everywhere, and it just stank. But good thing we were running with the tour guide.
Yeah, we barely smelled it. We were trying to keep up with her.
We was galloping. So we do have to redo France or Paris. I want to go south of France. I heard here is very beautiful, so definitely have to redo France.
Yeah, I drove through France to get to Spain, and oh my God, you guys have to make that.
Can I ask you about Spain? Because that's one of the ones I speak Spanish about. But if they say something sad to me, I'll say something sad back because I've heard about the racism only because a family member of ours went and had to stand up for a darker girl because they were laughing at her. So I just wanted to know how was your experience there?
Well, so I'm always going to have a different experience because I'm an introvert. So I don't speak to people. I don't. And I get where I'm going, and so, but I would say I went to Spain probably during a time where I wouldn't go again. So I went during the summer. It was high tourist season. I was staying in Barcelona near the beach, and I did experience Spaniards kind of treating white Americans better than me. So I've had instances where their table was getting service and mine wasn't at all, or I would have to wait a long time to be seated. And I'm like just one person. So I'm like, okay. And sorry, sidebar. I like to sit at a table. I don't like to sit at the bar when I eat because I like to have items. I order multiple drinks. So I just like to spread out. I just have a preference. So I have experienced that. But as far as like it being prejudice, I'm not sure that I can speak to that. I have heard people correct others people's Spanish. So like in Spain, they speak a different dialect. So I have heard like somebody saying something in Spanish and then hearing the Spaniard person correct them. But I want to give Spain another chance. I think if I just went to a different area. So like on my channel, I have an interview with Yolanda. She's someone who stays in Zaragoza, and she has raving reviews, right? Also, I have another interview on my channel with Kirsten, who's in, I forget where she's in, but she's in like a smaller town in Spain. And I think they're having different experiences than like a bigger city like Barcelona, especially like the season that you go. So I would recommend not going during high tourist season. Because it was just a lot of, white tourists impact your experience in a way, like them blatantly not trying to use Spanish and then, over talking or talking really loudly to servers and things like that. And you can also just tell the difference in treatment. So go look. You will like it. You like it. I like Spain. But I would like to go to a different city.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll definitely give it a try. That's been my hesitation. I was like, I can speak the language, but if y'all say the wrong thing, I will cuss you out in Spanish. So it's just like, yeah.
First of all,
So
don't
yeah,
cuss no. But okay, so like I wanted to talk about that. You, so what's your take? Because y'all said y'all won't go to countries where you feel like they may be a little prejudiced or they may have like where there's a chance that you'll experience racism. I mean, that's cutting a lot of places out because
oh
you
no,
know
we know. That's
the
why
black
we in regards to different cities as well. I don't
Yeah.
want to cancel the whole country as a whole, but if there's a city that we can feel comfortable, I'm all for it. I don't want to say I was just gonna give the just say goodbye to the country. I will still give it a chance. So I don't
I
want
don't
to.
know.
I don't want to take it as far as
Yeah.
cancel the country. No, I will just
Right.
pick a
We
different
we
city.
had a bad time in Milan, right? Because we've only been to Milan in Italy. Does not mean we're not going to return and try other cities because there's a lot to see and experience,
Mm-hmm.
different cultures from different cities. So we had one bad experience. We're not going to let it affect
Affect the
the
whole
whole
country.
country. And I still eat Italian food almost
Sure do.
twice a week. So
Sure do.
I'm still going to return.
Will do. But you can't even lie though. When we met you, when the day I met you and we went to Como Gardens, wasn't that Italian food really good?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah,
I
you
think
told
so. I remember eating
the
it. I
top.
remember.
Yeah, it wasn't like that when we went. That's what I was expecting when we went to Italy. It wasn't that.
Yeah, I love Italian food. I love Italian food. I
I
love
get
wine.
it.
That's why I want to go to like a wine country and see a vineyard. And there's so much travel to do, like, and there's not enough time.
If you want
Um,
to do it quickly, you can head to Napa Valley right quick. We did that. I puked, but it was a good time.
Drinking too much.
where else have you guys been in Africa?
Just for me, just Liberia.
Just
And
Liberia.
you been to Morocco for a day or two.
Layovers.
I swear you went outside and adventured with your grandma or something.
That's
Just,
Jada.
oh, sorry.
That's my little sister. That's not me.
Yeah, she just was. We want to get around though, sister. I saw you went to South Africa.
I went to South Africa. I liked Joburg. I didn't really like Cape Town, but Cape Town is beautiful. I would say I think we all could go around to Africa and
Yeah,
experience different countries.
for sure.
Um, so where I think we talked a little bit about safety, and so like you mentioned since y'all are a pair that you feel safer traveling in a pair. I'll be bopping around the world with my goons,
Yeah.
friends, with me, but just by myself. So like, have you been to a country where you were like, if I was by myself, I would hate it because I don't feel safe or I'm uncomfortable or and which country was that?
I think in Asia we felt comfortable everywhere. The only thing I would say by myself, I would probably have a mental breakdown is South Korea.
Oh yes.
Because I did
Really?
have a
Mental
breakdown.
breakdown in South Korea.
Because everywhere we went, we were able to get SIM cards really easily. And when you're traveling and you can't get a SIM card and your phone plan is not working with
And you
roaming
don't have Wi-Fi
and you
in
know
that
Wi-Fi,
area.
you're
You
going,
panic.
you start to panic. You're like, I can't get an Uber, I can't order food. So when we first got to Korea, we couldn't get a SIM card because in order to get a SIM card, you need a resident number. And in order to get a resident number, you need
need to be a
a
resident.
visa to actually live in South Korea. So for the first, I want to say 2 days, we barely
didn't eat.
ate because we couldn't get an Uber. We couldn't connect to nothing because we didn't have a SIM card. I was like, we're going to die. We're here for 6 days. Or no, we were there for 10
2
days.
weeks.
2
Yeah.
weeks. And I was just like, okay, we're just going to have to figure out how to walk to stuff. But where we were wasn't really walkable. It just, that South Korea, we didn't plan it out correctly. And you live and you learn. That was the first time. We will go back, but we will do it better. Get a phone plan that actually is able to work over there. But yeah, you can't get a SIM card out there, and that was. I would have panicked if I was by myself. I would have been like, I'm dead. She would have been like, are you cheating on me? Why haven't you answered me in 2 or 3 days?
That's one of the ones you have to give your man a pass. If you out too long and not answering that phone, there's no service.
But yeah, that is the only thing I found very difficult when traveling to South Korea.
Yeah.
But everywhere else
felt
pretty safe. Especially in the Spanish-speaking countries. It's my lifesaver. By myself, struggling. Pictures. Google Translate something. Because...
So when you go to a new place, do you guys do any, are there any, safety procedures that you do? Do you have any, safety tips for people who might be traveling alone?
Traveling alone. So... especially if you don't speak their language, when you're getting picked up in ride shares, if you do get a ride share, make sure you're tracking it on your phone. So for example, put it in the GPS, and if they're not going that direction, start speaking up. Try to communicate also, hey, where are we going? Because there was times where we were going the wrong place, and Paulisha would be grabbing my leg, I'm nervous, because it goes from city to real sketchy, but you just got to ride it through a little bit.
And in certain places that happens, and I can speak the language. I ask them what's going on. They'd be like, oh, we're just taking a shortcut because there's traffic.
Yeah, so you have to be. There was a time, I think we were with my mom in Portugal, and he took some back road, and my mom started panicking, and I was just like, and Paulisha had us speak in Spanish, where are we going? He's like, oh, there was an accident, so I'm going to take a back road. So
look at me speaking Spanish in the Portugal.
We love to see.
He understood. So
he understood. But also, and then one tip also, if you are in those cars, true crime girly one-on-one, pull out some hair and leave it in there. Just in case. You heard me.
We watch true crime. So if you are
in a car,
and if you're in a car and you feel unsafe, pull out a couple strands of your hair and leave it in that car.
So if they looking for you and they can track you, they'll see some of your strands of hair was in that car, and they'll look at that driver and be like, where's this person?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Everybody, take this moment to please like the video. If you have any questions for Alicia and Jay, please drop down in the comment section. I don't know who I done brought on my channel today.
The crime show.
You that afraid that you pulling out your hair in a car?
You don't know, people could just do things on a sly. So just if you feel a little uncomfortable, pull a little strand, keep it right there on the floor.
Yeah. Especially with, we probably know those who travel, the tags, put a couple tags in each one of your bags, air tags in your bag. Make sure if you lose your luggage. When you're traveling, have at least one person you text when you take off and when you land. And every time you leave a destination. I believe in
share your location with somebody.
Share your location with someone.
I got 6 people on alert at all times.
So every time you leave your location, they can follow you.
Need that many people.
If you're not texting fast enough, I got backups. Check my location, help. One of y'all gonna see it.
Many people on alert.
And then lastly, when you are in your Airbnb, I work in cybersecurity, so I'm very security conscious. Even when she's not paying attention, I'm the eyes and ears of our relationship. So I'm always scanning our location. I'm always looking over our shoulder. When we're in hotel rooms, we're looking for cameras that could be watching us. Double locking your doors. There are certain things on Amazon you can buy to reinforce locks on hotel doors, especially as women. We need to make sure that no one is coming into our space when we're sleeping. And then on Amazon as well, you can buy USB plug-in cameras for when you leave your room. If someone comes in, it's recording them and sending it, backing up to your cloud. So just little things when you travel just to protect yourself and your belongings.
Sidebar, if you're traveling with goobers like I am, I have a little camera that I keep to watch the dogs because sometimes I miss them, but also to watch if any serial killers are breaking into my flat.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I second that, is what I'm saying. I second that. Okay. So you talked a little bit about the mishap in South Korea. What, after that experience, what goes into planning your trip now? So like what kind of advice could you give to somebody who they're just starting out, they know they want to be nomadic or they know they want to go abroad? What kind of things do you have on your list for whenever you're starting to plan a trip?
Okay. So you want to go or
As far as planning the trip,
are you really gonna talk that? Because do you really plan the trip?
I do.
Or do you hop on the plane?
No, I do. I plan some of them. Some of them, some. However, as far as planning it, I would say read reviews.
Yeah.
Read reviews.
100%.
If you don't do anything else in this life, read the reviews.
I'm stressed. Y'all, the what goes into so far what I've heard, what goes into y'all planning y'all trip have been, we have a list of places that we want to go to. We look at the flights, we choose a location, we go. I am OCD.
I know
Spreadsheets upon spreadsheets before I even leave my house. I know how I'm going to get from the airport to the accommodation. I've looked at how to take a bus. I've looked at how to say several words in each language. I've printed out paths that I'm going to take. I know nearby cafes. I know.
Yep. So okay, so to be honest with you, this is actually what we do. We look at flights first, right? If there's a flight, and it depends on our work schedule, but we figure out the flight situation first. Before we book the flight, we look at the hotel or the accommodation. Now, we love Airbnb in certain instances, but 9 times out of 10, we'll go with a hotel brand we have loyalty with. One, because if anything happens, we know our American Express or whatever credit card is going to cover incidentals, and also something goes down, that hotel is going to reward us with extra nights or points because of something that happens. Airbnb is usually our last resort because one, you got to pay in advance. It's not guaranteed. Anything can happen, but we do use Airbnb sometimes. But once we get our accommodation
together, we start looking.
Then we book the flight, even though we have the flight already picked out. Then we book the flight,
and then once we book both of those,
yes,
we look for cars. After we get a car, if we can drive on the right side,
right.
So we'll get a car first.
If
not, we'll do Ubers or Grabs. I'm sorry, with the public transportation, the way I panic. The only public transportation I could do is UK. But the way I panic, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm so serious.
She has
when you say panic, elaborate. When you say panic, elaborate. What triggers the panic?
She gets so
directionally challenged.
Yeah, she gets overwhelmed. She's like, you know what? Now we're staying inside because now I don't know where to go. But the reason why we usually book a car, Paulisha is a 2-part traveler. She wants to book a location where she can hop on either a boat or we can drive to another country or city.
Something gotta be near.
We're never in the same spot. So like if we, for example, we went to the Philippines, we took a whole flight to another island and then drove 3 hours to go do something because she's a 2-part girly. She's like, if we here, we might as well explore multiple places. So that's why we usually get a car, because we'll explore the location we land, but also go explore another city in that country or hop across a border to a different country.
Then after we do that, we'll look around. We'll look on TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, TikTok and TripAdvisor, and Get Your Guide and Klook for activities with other people. If we want to do a group thing and go to see elephants or go see something or a food tour or something, we'll book those. And then for food, I'll look around the area first, but I'll also get TikTok recommendations. But even though I get the TikTok recommendations, I'll read those reviews.
Yeah. No, so I joke about it, but TikTok is people joke, but TikTok is actually a resource.
So I'll I'll look for everything activity wise, and once we book everything, and then I'll look at the reviews just to see which ones are top notch. And then each day we'll plan an activity and a food choice. So we'll have something. The first day we rest, but every other day, yeah.
So what I heard was you have basically found somebody to support your crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They just kind of like create a safe environment for you to be insane. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
She's the type that just walks down the street, and I'm over here like scanning, like, okay, what's going on?
Very oblivious, very delulu. Yeah. I'm working on it.
You need a little delulu, right? You need a little delulu in your life. So I'm for it. Okay, so y'all have had like a crazy ride. What have you learned since traveling about yourself, about the world?
That America is really closed-minded. We
love our people.
in our culture, we're so closed off to experiencing other people because in my opinion, the worst kind of tourist is Americans. We are entitled. We think when we go to other people's culture, they have to conform to what we think is normal. And going out and, but us, we have other cultures, so we understand. But going out and experiencing other cultures and knowing like, okay, it's not going to be like in America. It's not going to be what is a norm. Food is going to taste different. People are going to act different. What our social cues, they're not going to match up with other people.
I did want to add to the also what you were saying of what do you guys look up? We also look up the laws and the rules because I'm not going to jail in nobody else's country.
Right. Especially being a lesbian couple, we do look up those laws as well. Like we already don't show PDA, but just to make sure if I accidentally grab her hand in public, what's going to happen? So that is what deterred us actually from going to like Dubai, for example. We would love to visit, but we just have to learn a little bit more about their laws before we can freely go and say we can enjoy or even stay in the same hotel room.
We want to be respectful before we get there. So we try to get a little knowledge before we
So we try to respect everyone's culture. But what I've learned is just that if you are an American traveling outside of America, just know everything is just not the way we have it in our country. You have to be open. For example, like when you go to Europe, don't expect ice to be in your drink and don't get rude about it. That's just not their culture. So,
don't
embrace
expect
it.
them to bring your check when you want them. You have to ask.
You have to ask for the check. They're not going to bring. You will sit there all day.
And they'll just be like, you good?
They will sit there all day, refill that water cup. They will not bring the check until you ask.
Because they can look at you. Sometimes I don't even. You have to be like,
hey, can I get the bill?
Yes.
Those people are like, listen, I earn a livable wage. I'm not your servant. I'm not your personal servant.
Love that for them, right?
Right. I love that for them.
Right.
But I mean, you said a lot that I agree with. I do think there's a lot of I don't know if it's even privilege, but it's just like people go into another country and they expect to have the same American experience. Like, like I want things my way. And, in America, you can have it your way in a sense, right? You could go to Burger King and say like, look, I want a burger with no lettuce, no tomato, no pickle, no ketchup. Yeah. And people will accommodate you. But then like you go to another country and they like,
it is what it is. They be like, what's on the menu is what you get. Yeah.
Period. And we're not gonna jump through hoops to give it to you either. So,
and some of them are like, learn how to say what you want on the menu and come back. Like they're not going to, just because you speak English, and yes, sometimes it's a universal language, but if you are going to go into a country, at least learn how to say hello, thank you. And going through Asia, we had to do that.
I was all up. I was like, kamsahamnida. I was like, konnichiwa.
Wow.
I was
like you
all of that.
at least learn how to say the basics. Hello, bye, thank you. Can I have
And you should see, like, when they see you try, they're more inclined
to help
to
you?
help. They feel like, oh, she's trying. Let me help you. Like every
Right.
time I said something in Asia, and they'll light up like, oh my goodness, like, yeah,
Like you're
I'm
trying. Right.
Yeah.
So-
It goes so far. It really does go so far. So how do you feel like you've grown then?
I'll be
feel-
outside.
Okay, we have that. You know how you say you're an introvert. It helps with that.
Yes.
1, 2. We also realize we don't have to wait on anybody to travel with us. We have each other.
Exactly.
Like, you always wait for the next person. Oh, we want to come with you. We want to travel
Right.
with you. We're not going to wait for you.
We're the type to get out of the group chat and travel without you.
Okay.
Since you don't want to like make that move, we like she said, we don't have to wait on a group of friends to say, okay, now we're gonna travel. When we're ready, we pick up and we go. And you will never know where we are in this world. That's the thing about us. Like we are
Us with our
outside.
characteristics, as far as not being a people pleaser, as far as setting our boundaries, as you playing too much, don't play with us. We can move on and do it on ourselves.
Yeah.
Our sense of it. I'm learning more independence as well with her.
Yeah.
Even though I am Delulu sometimes, she also guides me back into, hey, you have to look out for this. So
Right.
next time this happens, this is what you do.
Right. And I think where we've grown is we are open to try new things.
Mhm.
So we're, like we said, we're respectful of every culture. We try everything at least once. When we were in Philippines,
Oh
we
my
ate
God.
things we will never.
Intestines
Yeah.
and
We tried it
blood
once.
and- yeah.
It might not happen again, but we were respectful. And we make sure, like, when we try something and we don't like it, not to make a face, because people put their heart and soul into
that,
cooking
yeah.
what they're providing for you. So whether we like it or not, we're not going to make a face if it's not for us. We'll enjoy it and say thank you, and we appreciate you
'Cause
cooking for us. But
that pasta from Milan, I just asked for a to-go box and politely threw it in the trash because I don't have time.
but yeah, it's cool to now walk down.
You know,
It's
you feel bad. You feel bad because you don't want to finish eating it, but you also really don't want to take it home.
So it's cool walking down like the grocery aisle, right? And seeing foods we know because we've been to so many countries. Like, oh, we've tried that and that's a good brand. So we learned a lot about ourselves, and we do put a lot of where we travel's cooking into our home cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So we cook a lot of Asian, we cook a lot of Italian, we cook a lot of, everywhere. So yeah.
It just gives us, I feel like we grew up a little bit. You know how when they say you leave your hometown, and you have to leave your hometown to know like what is out there? I feel like we left our hometown, never went back, but we're just elevating. It's just giving us, we just want to do more instead of being stagnant.
Definitely. And I get that too about like, because I am also an introvert, but people will interact with me and be like, I don't think you an introvert. I don't feel like you're I'm like, that's because we haven't met him in person. In person, I'll be climbing up the wall not to talk to you. But it does help to have to like, because you're in that situation where you're going to have to figure out how to ask for help or how to ask for directions, or like you're in a new place in a new country and maybe you want to order food, and like doing these many courageous things over and over again. It's almost like you desensitize yourself in a way to that social anxiety.
Listen, COVID put me in a box. I was very social into COVID, and then I'm working on being a little more social. Because she'll joke with you. She'll tell you, everywhere we go, she has a friend. No matter where we are, she has a friend.
Matter.
And yes, because I was very vocal like that. So I'm learning how to be vocal again. So I might have a friend in every country and every continent and everywhere soon. So stay tuned.
Fun fact, that topic, when I went to propose to her in New York, never took this girl to this place before. And I'm with her cousins explaining to them, she has a friend everywhere in this world. And one person walked by, Leisha! They were friends from elementary
school.
And I'm like, you see, this is a prime example. You know how the world aligns? Yeah. So she, everywhere we go, she knows someone.
I think that's beautiful. Have y'all had any moments though where you were like, oh my God, this is the situation that my mama told me about. Like, she said I was gonna get snatched up and here we are. Or she said I was gonna be stuck out and here we are. You know what I mean? Like any like, oh my God, what am I gonna do kind of moments where you just like panicked.
Oh, that meant the time we were leaving from and the man almost didn't take us in London.
Oh, this was in London.
This was in London.
But it wasn't like an oh my gosh.
I felt
moment.
like if we didn't have Free Now, it would have been a oh my gosh moment and we would have panicked. I'm trying to think of a better one.
Yeah, that one is just he was having a bad day. I don't think we've had one.
I'm trying to think of oh my gosh moment.
And I can say we're blessed that we haven't had a crazy moment like that.
I'm trying to Honduras.
Oh, we went to her home country, and
I told them we normally do taxis, or we normally just get a bus or find a family member to go around because they drive a little crazy.
We got a rental car, and thankfully I put it on American Express, so it had an extra layer of protection. But one night we were driving to dinner, and this guy on a motorcycle slams directly into my door as I'm making a left-hand turn. Boom. He goes flying, by the way. He flies. And I was so mad because it was his fault. I just stood there and I looked at him and he's looking at me and I'm like, you wasn't supposed to do that. And it made a huge dent into the car. And I just panicked because it was on my credit card and all 4 people contributed to that. Like, I hate doing that, but
I feel like it was like
they didn't care. It was an oh my gosh moment. They didn't care. They're like, oh, it's on you. You got to figure it out.
Yeah, and they were like, they don't care. That's on you.
Yeah, and so
it was an oh my gosh moment. As one, you know how your parents say don't leave the house at a certain time because you don't know what's going on. That was one. 2, I didn't want to go out, so I should have just listened to myself.
Yeah.
And the second part, and then 3, it was just like. I panicked because I didn't want to go through the rental people, so I had to go flex my Spanish and find a man on the side of the street to fix my car 2 days before we left.
Yeah. He took a hammer and banged that thing out.
And buffered it for $50.
Yeah, it would have been like...
But ask me, I lost about 7 pounds in between them 2 days. I was panicked.
Yeah.
For the stress of it.
For the stress of taking the car back with big scratches on it, a dent in the door.
It was bad.
It was bad.
I was trying to take the scratches out with toothpaste. I was doing everything.
We did hot water. We tried the plunger. Every plunger we had a hole in it. It was just awful.
The plunger had a hole in it.
Yes. 2 different plungers. I even drove 30 minutes to use my stepmom plunger. Hers had a hole in it. I'm like, dang.
I don't know what y'all plunging, but
yeah.
So like what's the most difficult part about traveling and being like nomadic? What's the
fatigue of it all?
Flight fatigue.
The flight fatigue. My goodness. We missed out on Singapore and Laos. That was supposed to make the 30 for our Asia trip, but the way flight fatigue hit us, my goodness. So I say if you're gonna stay somewhere, do it for 2 weeks or more if you're gonna jump, because you need that rest. As much as we say we can go, we're getting older, baby, and it's gonna start catching up, and the bones gonna start creaking, and it's gonna hurt, and just rest. 2 weeks or more.
I told you so.
Mm-hmm. That's because we did days where it was only like 4 days, or only. I was like, my goodness, I am exhausted.
No, and I tell the people I stay in a place between 1 to 3 months, and within that time frame I may go to another city, but I'll have a base to where I can always go home, and usually I'll find a place where I can let's say when I was in Barcelona, I went to Valencia, I went to Madrid. You can take a train ride to those cities. I'll spend a day there, maybe sometimes I'll spend a weekend. So it's like that's a better way to structure your trip. Like if you're thinking about being a nomad, you gonna get tired. It's great. It's so great to see all these beautiful cities and experience all these different cultures, but you're going to get tired. You're going to be exhausted. And it's also like pushing yourself, right? Because it's like in some places you're dealing with having to deal with like a new language and figuring out how to communicate, how to advocate for yourself sometimes, eating different food. You know, you want to get everything on your list done. Like if you have like things to do, you want to make sure you're doing that. And even just transportation, like getting to and from, can be exhausting. Do you have any like must do things, like since you've been to so many places, what's like an experience that you feel like everybody needs to have this?
Yeah. You want me to go or you want to go?
You go for yours.
Okay, I would say 2 things, maybe 3. At least try the local food once.
Please.
Try a couple dishes, because people go and they're like, well, I'm gonna just try to find the most thing they're comfortable with. Try to eat
Did
their
I freeze or did they freeze?
They might have.
They might have frozen.
Did I freeze?
No, you're not
You're
frozen.
good. You're fine.
Are y'all frozen? Did I freeze?
No.
I'm good.
Yes. I can see you.
You're frozen.
We are. No one is frozen.
Where are you guys
right now? Us.
And
oh,
she's frozen.
She's frozen, y'all.
It wasn't us.
We'll wait for her. Let's look at the comments. Slow travel is
no. He said Poland was one of my worst experiences, and then he said he to go back. Okay, yeah, we went to Krakow. So I don't know where you went, but if you go to Krakow,
yeah, they're very nice, and most likely in the 90s this probably was a little racist. When we went 2023,
yes.
They were very nice.
Very nice.
The reason why they said they were they recommend that is because, or that they're not racist, is because of the Holocaust. They said that the locals say that since they were persecuted and millions killed there, that they respect everyone else. Now this is
that was verbatim from them.
Yeah, from them verbatim, that they were once attacked for who they were, so therefore they don't attack other races. So that's what they say, and we felt that while we were there, so that's good.
I'm back.
Hey, we took over for 2 seconds.
Yeah, we were looking at the comments trying to read some of them.
I'm trying to get used to this, y'all.
I'm in the US and Wi-Fi is ghetto here, so when y'all start asking them questions about like, oh, what's the Wi-Fi like in so and so place, I'm in the US. And the Wi-Fi is
right now, but
a little transition.
Well, basically everywhere we went, the Wi-Fi was pretty good. I'm trying to think of where it wasn't.
Everywhere was good.
Everywhere was pretty good.
Yeah. Right now, as of right now, yes, we're in the US.
Yeah, we're in the US at the moment. We'll be heading back to Europe January time. My grandma just recently moved from Honduras to Dallas, where you are. So I'm going to be spending the holidays with them. So that's why I said I might get to see you soon.
You're going to come see me?
Yeah. Do lunch or something.
Forget your grandma. You coming to see me?
Okay. I love you, grandma, but girl, let me stop.
That would be so fun. Because I promise you, I met Leisha in like, I think April of
I literally just moved 2 months in.
Yeah. And I had only been in London for maybe a month. And after that, I think I left and went to Morocco. And then you and I met up and we had lunch or dinner again. And then I started my bop around Europe and we could not align and be in the same place it's literally been a year and some change since I've seen you in person. And I've never met Jay in person.
No. I be telling her, go fly. Spread your wings, meet people. I'm an introvert. I'm gonna stay inside. I'm an inside girly.
I am an inside girly too, but I am very. I want to say I'm friendly. A lot of people say I'm mean, but I say I'm friendly. So I try to go outside and say hi. How you doing? Your day's good. Your dog's cute. You know.
So you're trying to talk to people more.
I'm trying to do my best.
You're trying to rebrand as the friendly person.
I am friendly.
Okay. I love that for you. I love that. Um,
friendlier one out of the both of us, I'll say.
I don't know. I don't know. So
I
I
don't
probably
know.
like Jay. So I don't know. Well, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for coming on my channel. Is there anything? Because I feel like we talked about so much. Why don't we wait a couple minutes? If you guys have any questions for Leisha and Jay, please drop down in the comment section and ask them because we're winding down.
She said,
You know, even though I have my glasses, I'm still blind.
She said that means both of them.
Oh, okay, both of them.
Maybe
I'm both handed.
ambivert. I can't read.
Yeah. That's the introvert and the extrovert together. So I was just
like a mix.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to somebody who wants to travel more? Not necessarily relocating, right? Because that's like a very specific thing.
My thing is, if there's a country that is cheap and is next door, make that one country your base and jump. Just get a 2-in-1.
Well, even if you can't travel outside the country and you only have the funds to do it domestically in your state, do that. Start in your city, start going out doing different things, branch out to the next nearest city. And then when you can leave the state, do that. If you can't afford a flight, travel, drive.
Because we went to St. Augustine because we never been. That was in Florida. Yeah. And then we gradually went to Georgia. And then we was like, all right, let's go to this place. And then, all right, let's go here. We moving a little further. North and South Carolina. Let's go to Virginia. Go to Ohio.
Right. So some folks never leave Miami. And them going to Orlando, that's just a trip in itself. So if you can't go out and travel internationally, try within your own state. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of touristy destinations in your state. And don't think that the U.S. isn't a travel destination. It is. There's many beautiful places in the States.
For sure.
So if you're scared about international, travel to California, go to New York, like Oregon, Washington. Try locally, domestically before you can
see some.
Branch out.
Be cold, see a season, because us Floridians don't see any seasons.
Got one season.
When I went to Ohio for the first time, and I think it was fall, and I saw the leaves actually falling, I was like, what's going on?
The first time I saw fall was in Germany, and I was like, this is why they call it fall.
Yeah.
the leaves are falling.
They're different colors.
I haven't seen seasons until I moved out of Florida. I was always just hot. Now,
When you started talking about the different places in Florida, I was completely lost. Florida to me is Miami and Disney World, and I don't know anywhere else.
Tampa, Jacksonville, there's Destin, there's Tallahassee, Pensacola, there's St. Augustine, there's so many, Palm Beach, West Palm, Boca Raton, so many places.
You might as well be listing craters on the moon. I have no idea. I don't know.
Yeah. But I guess we're just deemed as Floridians are deemed as the retirement destinations. So all those other places that I'm naming are mostly retired people, but they're still nice.
Just a lot of old folks.
Just a lot of old people.
And a lot of anyways, so everybody, I want to I don't know if this is really an announcement. I said it on my other video. So my channel is now monetized. You can become a member on my channel. You guys watching, you should have the option to become a member. I haven't figured out what content is going to be for members only, but I will. And when I do, good things will come of it. Yes. And also, I'm going to come up with some merch, so be on the lookout for that. Leisha, I've put your channel in I'll put it in the description of this video, and I've also pinned it to the comment section. Thank you guys so much for coming to chat with me. This was so fun.
Thank you for having us, and shout out to Yvonne, and shout out to the Luxury Bucket List and everybody who has been commenting. Nice to meet you guys. Hopefully to see you all soon on my channel when I actually get some content out.
Please.
It'll be sooner than later, and I promise.
You have content. You just have not posted the content. I know you do. I know.
Stay in one place, so I'm fixing to stay in one place for a little bit and get that all together. You're welcome.
All right. Thank you guys so much. This was the Awkward Black Nomad. For more amazing interviews like this one, for more travel content, albeit maybe dog content, solo travel, introvert travel, you can check out the other videos on my channel. Please like the video, subscribe, share, and peace out. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.